Welcome to yet another beautiful session of the New York live trading session. Thank you for joining in, wherever you're joining from, Lagos, Nigeria, Kenya, wherever and everywhere. For my people on our IG live, welcome. Thank you very much. Of course, this is something we're going to be doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. Always remember to join in. This is the session where we're going to be analyzing the opening of the New York session. We're going to be talking about the market, possible instruments to actually be trading, and well, basically just here to make money. And remember, of course, as always, remember every analysis, information, and trade signals given in this session is based on our understanding of this market. Past profits do not guarantee future profits. And always remember to trade cautiously. And remember this session for educative purposes only. So, of course, we know that going straight into it, we are going to be looking at what is actually making the rounds. All right, we're going to be looking at what's making the rounds in the market this afternoon and what has been happening. So for those of us on our Zoom, thank you very much as well. So yes, we already understand that right now, the only basic thing that's actually moving the market, of course, Donald Trump. So I think he has actually extended the deadline for the tariffs. So that's actually giving a bit of a sentiment into the market. And also, yeah, the stocks have actually been mixed this beautiful afternoon for the whole of today that's going to be looking at. So remember, the new deadline and tariff is threatening and brewing actually from Donald J. Trump. Also, we're looking at crude oil prices also slipping lower today. All right, so now let's look at the currency strength meter and see what is currently happening. So we'll be able to look at the market and see the instruments we're actually going to be trading this afternoon, which is stronger, which is weaker, and what we are going to be making money from this beautiful Tuesday afternoon. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing my screen for those of us on Zoom, so we can actually go ahead to see the screen. Okay, I believe everybody can see my screen. So now for today, we're looking at AUD, of course. Most likely looking at the currencies from the Asian region, looking very, very strong this afternoon, or rather for today. So AUD is leading the pack, followed by NZD, and of course, the Canadian dollar. Then we have Euro, and for losers, we have the CHF, that's Swiss franc, and the USD, GBP, and then JPY. All right, so this will give you an idea of, about the instruments that we're going to be looking at and which currency is actually looking very strong today and which ones are actually very, very weak. So we can see JPY is actually trailing, followed by GBP and then the USD and then the Swiss franc as well. Leaders is the AUD, New Zealand dollar, and also the Canadian dollar. Now, we are going to go straight into it. Also, it's very, very important to actually see if we are going to be expecting any, be sure to look for any economic calendar. So for today, we do not have any economic calendar that will be, rather, any news that will be coming up on our economic calendar. So in other words, we are practically safe. We are expecting very low volatility this afternoon towards the opening of the New York session. So we are just going to go straight into the chart and see what we can trade today. Okay, so my personal favorite when it comes to really likes to obey the support and resistance, supply and demand region, supply and demand zones. It really always like to obey that, and we can see it. Let's first of all look at it on the larger time frame. So you can see on the weekly time frame that there has been a rejection around the price level 1,696, right? 1,696. So there was a rejection at this point, and since then it has been going all the way up, and it's currently at around price level 2,238. So we can safe to say for those of our investors or traders who are actually looking at swinging this instrument, if you had entered gone in with a buy, you would have been in a whole lot of profit. So it's expected that it's going to be going all the way to the price level 2,446, because that is the next resistance region. So for our intraday traders today, let's go down to the 1 hour time frame and also look at it on 15 minutes and also a 30 minutes time frame to see the proper, what I like to call, what we call, sniper entries for us to be able to trade this afternoon, while we're actually going to be anticipating the opening of the New York session. All right, so now looking at price on the US 2000, let's look at it on the hourly time frame. We can see that price has rejected around the support, which was around price level 2200. That's 2200, and right now it's currently hovering around the 222 region. That's 2222 region. So we can see that price actually looking at doing a form of a retest, because there was a break of structure here. Price came back up for a retest, and most likely expecting it to go all the way back down. So for me, I'm going to give a bullish bias, because we have already seen the overall trajectory of the US 2000 on an upward movement. So, but let's go straight to the lower time frame and see if we can get a good entry. So yes, on the 15 minutes time frame, we can see price has actually broken this resistance here, and also trying to do a retest. So I'm going to be envisaging for entry for a buy. However, I also need to be careful and wait for the opening session to actually trigger this and make it move very, very fast. So I'm going to be, for me, I'm going to be looking at an upward movement anywhere between price levels 22,025 all the way up to 22,044. Right, 22,025 all the way up to 22,044. So safe bet is I'm looking at a buy projection for the US 2000 this afternoon once the opening session kicks in. Well, and also I like giving an alternative scenario just in case. Yes, because the market, if it goes up, it goes down, something is bound to happen, and money is meant to be made. So me personally, I always like having alternatives. All right, so for those of us joining, welcome. Okay, so for an alternative scenario, let's say the market breaks below instead. Remember, my bias first of all is an upward movement, a buy entry, but I'm going to be giving an alternative scenario. If price is able to break below the region of the verified resistance, that is around price level 2,214. Yes, I'll be selling all the way down to price level 2,205. So basically, remember again, my strong bias is the buy movement and upward movement around price level 2,225 all the way up to 2,244. For my alternative scenario at below price level 2,214 all the way down to 2,205. Okay, so with that said, let's move on to our next instrument. I'm going to be analyzing gold next. We're going to be looking at gold. Of course, gold, favorite of a lot of traders because of the high volatility and its movement. Because hey, gold is an instrument that can actually make you a whole lot of money. However, it's also very, very important to trade cautiously with proper risk management rules. So let's look at gold on the best part. You can see gold over the weeks and the months since this tariff was everywhere. They've seen that gold has been making higher highs, and on the daily time frame, we can see that price got to another high and has rejected at that point, which is around price level 3,499. So let's just say about 3,500 mark, and that was the highest high it has done. And since that point, it's been doing a bit of a retracement. So let's go now to the shorter time frame, on the 1 hour time frame, to actually see and to support that. So because we already understand that once price gets to an all-time high, there's bound to be a retracement, right? There's bound to be a kind of a pullback, even if it's going to continue towards that region, but there's always going to be a pullback. So that's what we are currently experiencing on gold. All right. So now let's look at the so my bias for gold, maybe a brief sell, right? Maybe a brief sell before it continues upward, because we can see that on the daily time frame is looking at or on the 4 hours time frame. Let's look at it on the 4 hours time frame, doing a bit of a retest before it continues on an upward trajectory. So on the 1 hour time frame, I'm expecting gold to still push downwards. All right, today a bit of a retest around price level 32.96. Okay, so a retest around 32.96. Go back, pick our entries here, and then continue going up. Yes, for some people, they can decide to do a limit order, a buy limit order around this region, or can be patient enough to wait for it to just get there. And some others want to take the sell all the way there and then take another buy. We are always going to be looking for ways to make good money. So I'm going to go to the shorter time frame to get sniper entry. So for me, my bias for gold is still going to be a sell for the meantime, because I expect it to drop down before it continues pushing back up. So I'm going to be entering the market. Yeah, you can decide to wait for it to get to that point before you take your instant executions, or you can decide to set pending orders. So I'm going to be waiting for price to go as low as 33.18, that's 3318, before it triggers and starts going all the way down towards the support region. So yeah, you can decide to take it before, take your profits. So let's say we are going to be having two take profit regions at price levels 33.08 and price level 33.02. So we are going to be having two take profit regions. Once price is able to get into the region of 33.18, can take our sell, and first take profit region around 33.08 and also 33.02. All right, so that is my bias for gold is going to be looking at a sell. And then again, as I said, if you are down for it, you can decide to take a buy from those regions as well, because price is going to be looking at coming towards this liquidity area and then grab and then start going back upwards. So yes, and that's because we know that with the tariff going here and there are a lot of investors are not actually very confident on the US dollar at the moment. So and gold being a safe haven, we're expecting that a lot of people are going to be doing switches to gold, are actually investing more on gold. Okay, so let's look at Euro USD. All right, so we can see that for the better part of today, we've seen a slump on Euro USD. It's actually been falling. So, but let's look at it on the longer, on the larger time frame. Okay, we can see that Euro USD on the larger time frame has gone up all the way to the price level 1.1779. All right, and we can see that looks like a resistance region. Now it looks like it's trying to break that resistance region, but most likely trying to do a retest. Now, if price is able to close comfortably around that region, yes, you can see that has done a retest and can continue going upwards. However, that is for our swing traders and people who are enjoy staying in the market for a longer period of time. All right, so this is trying to do a kind of break of structure. So, but let's look at it on the 4 hours time frame and also the 1 hour time frame. Now, on the 4 hours time frame, we can see that price has gotten to this high and also been rejected here. I'm most likely suspected to maybe try and do a retest in this region right now. So let's look at it on the hourly time frame. So let's look at it on the hourly time frame. Yes, so I expect that price is going to come into this region. Okay, so now this is going to be the break, technically more like a break or make. So because once price is able to get in this region that it is currently, so whatever reaction is going to be happening here, then we can actually continue going. Then whatever reaction we see here, we can go in. But I'm expecting price on the 1 hour time frame to get into this region, right? Because this looks like a very good support region with about 2 counts already. We can see all these rejections here and also at this region again. So a limit order for me, I'm going to be looking at price getting here. All right, I'll pick my buy and then follow it back upwards. Okay, so I'm going to just put this around this region so you can see Okay. Okay, let me just do this. Trying to insert a shape in this area so we can see it clearly. Okay, so let's look at it. Price has already entered this region. So I'm just, maybe it's going to be better. Let me just put a horizontal line so that we can understand it or rather see it clearly. So once price is able to get into this region, I'm going to be buying. Now remember, in this one, we are going to be buying when it's low. So once price is able to get between the region of 1.17032 and okay, let me see these numbers clearly here, and 1.16919. So I'm going to be buying in those regions up to the next verified resistance. So my take profit region is going to be around price level 1.17753. Again, this is Euro USD. So once price is able to break, rather trade into these regions of 1.1703 and 1.1691. So anything in that region, I'm taking my buy because I do not expect price to actually break below this region here. It's going to probably do a retest there, and then I'll be taking my profits around price level 1.17753. All right. Okay, so let's see if we have time. Okay, let me do one more. So we're going to be looking at USD JPY quickly. So USD JPY is one other very, very nice pair when it comes to the USD the USD as well, because USD JPY is actually one instrument that can be volatile as well. So let's look at it on the weekly time frame and see how price is actually looking like. So we can see that the USD JPY has actually tested more like a triple bottom at this region. We have seen price do a first test, push all the way back up, came back to do that retest in that region and pushed upwards, another retest in this region. So it is expected that price has 3 times the charm, as they say. So price has most likely made this point a very, very strong support region, as most likely going to look at getting back upwards into this region. So for our swing traders, I'm going to be saying, but then again, still good to be safe. Once price is able to go across this level, right, we can be sure that it has actually broken above this region, and that's our price levels 149.232. Then we can continue for an upward movement for our swing traders. So if you're just want to put funds, open a specific lot size, and then boom, just let it go all the way up. So now for our intraday traders, let's go to the lower time frame, and of course our scalpers as well. So I'm expecting a buy movement on USD JPY, expecting it to actually continue on an upward movement. However, let's look at it on the hourly time frame. We can see that price, I don't think there's really anything stopping this guy right now, although there's a bit of a resistance, but not so strong. So let's say it on 15 minutes time frame. So it's going to most likely do a retest, right? It's going to do a retest, then continues upward. So I'm going to wait for price to retest into this region, right? We can see that it has broken above this sun code. So most likely going to come back here, retest it, and then continue going up. So I'm going to be using a limit order at this point, buy limit at price level 146.402. 146.402. So once price is able to get into this region, I'm going in for my buy because it still looks like a very, very lovely and continuous buy upwards. For instance, with a standard lot size, if you have good funds, that's about $10 per pip, right? Per standard lot anyways. So let's see how many pips this is going to be giving us. That's about 40 pips. Give or take $400 in the bag with a standard lot size. That is good money. Jesus. So yes, price level 146.402 all the way to 146.848 is our bet for the US DJPY this afternoon. All right. So for an alternative scenario, I don't see an alternative scenario with this guy. It's going to continue upwards right now because as we already looked at the currency strength meter, we see that JPY is almost dead for today. So there's nothing that's going to be pushing this guy down. So we expect it to continue going all the way up. So yes, again, if I'm going to be buying, I'm going to be buying when price dips down to 146.402 and 146.848. All right. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in this lovely afternoon. My name is Valentine, aka ValFX. For those of us who have been joining us on IG, thank you very much for joining in. Remember to subscribe, like, share, and also for our guys on Zoom, thank you very much for joining in. We have this on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And again, remember, every analysis, information, and trade signals given in this session is based on our own understanding of this market. We do not control the market. Past performance do not always guarantee future performance as well. Trade cautiously, apply proper risk management levels. Until we meet again, thank you. Do have yourselves a lovely, peaceful, and profitable day ahead. Peace.